Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of That's Our Take. It is going to be a surprising episode. The surprise is we and you are going to discover what this podcast is going to be about together as friends.
Well, I'm curious.
I'm curious
to know what it's going to be.
Me too. I'm excited because when it eventually reveals itself, I think it'll be a learning experience. And
so I guess something I learned, it's really cool to start off with, is what's called a WIFLE. What I feel like expressing. And maybe... Do you have a WIFLE you want to share? Otherwise...
Okay, well, I don't necessarily have one right now, so feel free if you have one.
I think it was just what I was discussing earlier during our little cigarette session. The fucking housing market. When is it going to crash? I am so sick of these inflated housing prices. It's affecting the rent prices, which in turn affect the housing prices, and it is just going up and up and up. I'm wondering, when is it going to come down, man?
You know, it's crazy here how it is. Like you were talking about these piece of shit houses covered in cat piss for like $160,000.
Yeah.
But in California, that same exact house is $1.6 million. And like that's the craziness to me is all over the country. It's so different and whatnot. And it's still very affordable to live in certain areas of the country just because it just is. But yeah, I mean, here in the suburbs of Milwaukee, and the counties surrounding it, it seems to be affecting a lot of people in a lot of ways in a negative way. House prices are going up. The availability of houses is crazy shallow right now for some reason. Abnormally. Maybe it's because last year, fucked up everybody. Everybody's afraid to make that big change. Because buying a house is expensive.
It did start last year, though. In 2020, we saw more people buying houses and the prices inflating. And with that, lumber prices started going up. And it wasn't a supply issue. They had plenty of lumber. They just wanted to charge more. I saw a post online that showed how much lumber you could get for $1,000. It was like 20 sheets of plywood.
Yeah,
and
a bunch of 2x4s.
And then it's like 4 2x4s and 2 sheets of plywood. And it was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So whether you're trying to buy an existing house or build a new one, it's just unaffordable. You really got to be making big money to be able to afford that. I feel like we're overpaying. What our parents and their parents paid for a house, they would make, what, $17,000 a year, and a house was $10,000?
Right.
It was 50% of their yearly income.
Right.
Now look at it today. What do people on average make? 30, 40, maybe 50?
I don't know what the average, let's look this up. What does the average American make per year? Meth is the answer. I don't know why it says meth, but
there's good money in that. It's probably going to be something depressing like 17.5, or it's the same as 60 years ago. That's so terrible.
Okay, so how much money does the average American make per year is my thing into Google.
And what does Google say?
I think I'm in Google News and should paste it in my Google search bar.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. Taken into account by the BLS. I don't know what that meant.
Bureau of Labor and Statistics.
Yeah.
Something, maybe.
That sounds really good, man. We'll go with that.
Shot in the dark.
It says the median weekly earnings are $933.
Ouch. 52 weeks a year.
Or about $48,500 per year. These are very general numbers.
Very general.
Yeah.
I mean, you got some low end, you got some high end. What is $15 an hour yearly? What is that, like 32.5 or something? I just feel like there's just not enough money to go around for us poor people.
$15 an hour and how much a year? It's $31,200 a year.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's before taxes. So you make $15 an hour. Technically, you're only making like $12.50.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're making, even at that, you're making $12.50 an hour after taxes, and that's not even with benefits. So if you have benefits or something, then that $15 an hour goes to like $9.80 an hour
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
I think you and I were talking about this last week on how to actually determine how much money in taxes you pay, because you have your Medicare, your Social Security, the FICA, then you have your state tax of about 5%, then federal taxes are 10%.
Yeah, we looked at that, right.
And then on top of that, that's just your earnings. Then beyond that, anytime you buy something, there's a sales tax. Anytime you register your car, your plates, there's a gas tax of about 80 cents in Wisconsin. So it's like property taxes. There's a fee and a license for almost anything. So anywhere you turn, there's additional money going to the government. I bet it's probably 40 to 50% of your actual earnings go to the government for literally almost nothing.
Yeah, when you take into account all the extra shit you have to pay for, when you spend the money you actually get from your paycheck.
And people used to riot over like a 1 or 2% over tea, just tea.
Yeah, just tea.
This is a friendly reminder that a federal income tax was only created to pay off the war debts, and subsequently never went away.
Subsequently, we've never not been in war, though. So maybe that's how they justify it. They just keep starting wars and shit like that. Gulf War, Vietnam, the Cold War. They had to assign it. There wasn't even nothing going on, but they had to call it a war.
The war on drugs. We got to put black people away.
The war on drugs. Yup. There's always a war going on, man. So that tax is always justified, I suppose.
There's a war on poor people.
No shit. Yeah, that's what America is. Yeah. It's just a system built to keep a few folks rich and on top and everybody else down, and with that illusion of freedom. They start you young with that nationalist bullshit, say the Pledge of Allegiance every day, salute everything, thank your troops, police officers are heroes, all of this shit. No, I'm not even going to go into that, because yes, yes, people in the military, fucking awesome, man, thanks. A lot of police officers, I couldn't do what you do. That's just the truth. Firefighters, I couldn't do what you do. I don't want to. If there's a burning building, I'm going to walk away, not towards it. So this shit like that. Like, I can't do that stuff. That's why I do what I do. But I feel like we're started at such a young age with that whole America number one kind of mentality kind of thing. We grow up, and then when anybody critiques it, like now, where you have 50% of the population saying, what the fuck is going on? And the other 50% saying, you shut up and be thankful for what you get. Because that's kind of like what's happening, right?
It's kind of what it is.
Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense to me. How obvious it seems, but yet how people are still saying that it's fair, I guess.
They have this perception that the world is still fair, that the opportunities they had when they were 50 plus years ago and the wages that they got 50 years ago are similar to what they are today. It's not. When tuition is 400% more, our parents, they could do a part-time summer job and pay for their tuition. Now you're in debt. That's just what it is.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. The whole summer job thing was a real thing. People put themselves through college.
That's seen as normal now, and you're almost put down if you mention that. You're like, it's, you can't walk into a place, shake someone's hand. Now you can, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Now, literally right now.
Everybody's hiring right now. Yeah.
As of June 2021, there is a shortage of workers who are okay not making a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to, man. And that's kind of proving my point. Half the population is like, well, no one wants to work. They just want to sit home and collect unemployment. Like, nah, dude, they just don't want to make $7.50 a fucking hour. And then when their cost of living is $9 an hour, that's just life, dude. And God forbid you have kids in the mix, and a lot of people do have kids because that's what we as fucking viruses on this planet are meant to do, reproduce. So we do. You get kids are expensive, they need to eat, they want everything. And it's, how do you keep up with that when the whole place that you're living in, that you're told is the best place in the world, is doing everything in its power to like just push you down from getting your head above the water? It's just, I don't understand it, man.
It's very depressing.
It is depressing. It is, and I feel like we talk about this a lot, but, you know, it's just like, it's the real nature of life in America.
I was going to say, I'm going to go cry into my Kleenex, but it's probably not even a brand. It's probably a generic Walmart. I'm going to go cry into this newspaper that I found on the road.
I'll cry into this one ply.
Oh, it's tough.
Yeah. Dude,
so depressing.
I don't know. I don't understand it, man.
It's hard to feel optimistic.
Yeah.
It's hard to want to have a good work ethic when the best raise you could get from an employer is 3%. And that just covers the cost of living.
Right.
Like, you did such a good job this year. You can continue working. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And by the way,
the CEOs of these fucking companies making, well, yeah, I only gave myself a little $11 million bonus for this, this year because we laid off 35,000 people and shit, like American Airlines specifically.
Right.
Laid off a bunch of people, got a fat bailout. CEO got an $11 million fucking bonus for being alive, I guess. I don't know. And you expect these people, like the people standing there in those stupid high heels all day, wearing the dumb skirts, not comfortable probably. I've never worn one. I don't know what a stewardess outfit feels like. Probably not comfortable. You're doing all that shit, and you're making, say you're making $17 an hour with the benefits, which actually comes out to, about $13 an hour, maybe $12. And all of that shit. But then you hear about your friends losing their job in the state over because business isn't good. But then the CEO gets an $11 million bonus.
100%.
How do you fucking in your life not just say, okay, maybe I don't get this $11 million bonus this year and everybody gets to keep their job. Maybe we just do that this 1 year and then we'll see what happens.
Because they're already making $30 million a year.
Exactly.
That was just their bonus.
Yeah,
that is so ridiculous.
That's not their salary and the benefits and the kickbacks they get from all of their, handshakes and stuff like that.
In 2014, We Energies, for some reason, a state-owned energy company has a CEO, and he made a $30 million bonus.
Right. Yeah.
Tell me why you need to charge me an extra $2 on my bill to pay for low income. You're taking the money. It's going to that guy. And it's supposed to be more affordable for all of us. Like when it's state-owned, government run,
right?
We're given the perception that, all right, these big fat capitalist pigs aren't taking all the money. Yeah. But now it's just someone else and we have no say over it. There is no competition for energy.
Yeah, not in Wisconsin. No.
Not in Wisconsin, no.
I literally can't think of anything else. Maybe up north. In the rural areas.
Yeah, we got your, propane accessories.
Propane, there's a lot of propane places, yeah. Like a lot of trailers and houses and shit out there in the rural areas. So, but that's your only alternative then. Propane and septic, if you want to get off the grid and stuff like that, which you aren't very reliable and they're dangerous and probably, I don't know if they're cheaper or just as expensive. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Than paying, the $175 we have to pay every month to keep our electric on. And
I don't know if it's more dangerous. I mean, you do hear about, electric issues, when shit blows up, transformers blow up, or you got a gas leak that blows up an area or kills a family because carbon monoxide. There's like dangers out there. It's not just propane is what I'm saying.
I guess, yeah.
What was interesting in North Carolina, when my sister lived there, they had 2 options for their waste management, for their recycling and garbage. They actually had 2 trucks come down rather than a city-run option, or it was contracted out. You had 2 options. Whoever had the better rates or better schedule or whatever, you could choose. And it was actually lower than our state-run here. So it makes you wonder, like, sometimes in a lot of cases, competition can be good. But when there's price fixing going on, I mean, that screws everyone over.
I mean, that's the whole argument for capitalism, is that allowing competition keeps everything competitive, which keeps it affordable. But when you think about, like, fucking really look into what actual company owns everything else. Look into Google what the fuck Nestle owns.
Every single product.
Everything in your pantry, basically. Everything. And it's under a different name. You have no idea. You're paying a stupid amount for it because you're just, oh, well, it's the brand name. It's a good name, you know? And it's all owned by the same fucking company.
Yep. All the money is being funneled into one company. What is that? Yum Brands owns Taco Bell, KFC.
Oh, right.
And probably a couple others. But there's this illusion of choice that we have, and when we vote with our dollars, we think we're supporting a different company, but it's all been consolidated to just a few higher up elites.
Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, KFC, The Habit, Burger Place. There's probably a million more too. I don't know. It's not really a good way to look.
Well, that's the thing. You're like, you know what? I'm mad at Taco Bell. They wouldn't give me the sauces I asked for. I'm going to Pizza Hut where they take care of, like, oh, the money's going to the same damn place. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing, you know, I mean, if you pay $7.50 an hour for people to spend at least out their fucking finite time on this planet working, making tacos out of dog meat for you, you pay them $7.50 a fucking hour, they're not going to care about anything. And we just had, you happen to be lucky here in South Milwaukee with this Taco Bell because the people that work there are just fucking saints. You know, they're just the nicest people.
Yeah.
Okay, at 2 o'clock in the morning, like, they're really nice compared to how they should be to a bunch of drunk assholes driving through.
I suppose they have a lot of turnover, as many of these fast food places do. But yeah. I think they even started closing early. They started closing at 11 because they're short-staffed.
Oh, wow.
When I would drive up to the window or drive up to the intercom, they were like, sorry, we're short-staffed tonight. Don't get anything big, and it's going to be a 20-minute wait. Yeah. And we have no beef.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, no shit.
I'm like, oh, I feel for you.
Yeah.
You know, it
absolutely sucks to be in that position as an employee.
Right.
Like, this is your responsibility now.
Yeah.
But totally, man. I mean, if you don't want that to happen, hire a manager, pay him $60,000 a year with benefits to really take care of your restaurant. Cause then he'll hire people that make maybe $15, $16 an hour to work at the Taco Bell.
And they'll actually care.
They'll care a little bit more. I mean, it's still making tacos out of dog meat, but you know, it's like, it's okay. Like I'm feeling rewarded.
If there's opportunities for an advancement too.
And there too, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, McDonald's is always talking about their advancement opportunities, their tuition reimbursement and stuff like that. But I have never once ever heard of somebody starting on the floor and getting promoted. I'm sure it's happened, but never me. Not any McDonald's I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I never heard of anybody saying that, oh yeah, McDonald's reimburses me for my tuition for college.
I haven't heard that from anyone either. Like, you know, started from the bottom and now I'm here.
Yeah.
They're just like, I got to work a double tonight because someone called in.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, you've been working here 6 years. Like,
right. Why are you responsible for someone calling in and you got to work the double? You've been here for how fucking long?
Right.
Like, no advancement.
Yeah. And also, could I get some ketchup in the bag, please? That's so shitty. But I'm just saying, it's tough out there for everyone. There's no real opportunities, no advancements. It just sucks. I don't mean to be so depressing on this podcast, but
this is a depressing
this is
episode,
reality.
But it's because it's reality.
It's reality, and can't sugarcoat it.
Right. Now, it would be irresponsible to not take a moment to reflect that, hey, at the moment, nobody's shooting a rocket at us. And there's not people shooting at us from outside. There's not a raid of fucking militia people, kidnapping kids out of schools and blowing shit up like there are in other parts of the world right now. So we should feel like it's responsible for us to take a moment to reflect that at least it's not that bad.
Right. Yeah, it's the first world problems that we're discussing here, but...
it's the first world problems, yes, but it's the problems of the country that's still screaming, we're the fucking best.
Mm-hmm.
And then they treat everyone else like you're under us. And then the whole world is just like, oh, you're an American? Okay, you're probably an arrogant, fat asshole. And it's just like, hey, I am not arrogant, okay?
The latter may be true, but... No, that's fair. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, man. I mean, it sucks, sure. It certainly could be worse, but it's certainly not as good as the higher-ups and the media keeps trying to tell us it is.
No, there's plenty of money to go around for everyone,
exactly.
But it's been concentrated to such a small number of people. I think I read somewhere that it was the boomer generation, they owned minimum 10% of the total wealth. Millennials, 4%.
Wow.
We have less than 60%. We have 40% of what they had. We have 60% less. Yeah. That's how I'm wording it.
60%
Numbers,
less. Yeah, math. Right. And we have 60% less, but everything else went 40% up.
Yes. We're just getting squeezed out.
Uh-huh.
It's just not fair.
Right. Bootstraps, right?
Bootstraps.
We're supposed to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps, get a fourth job.
I'm gonna tell them that anytime they need technology help.
Yeah,
you know what? Should. You need to take yourself, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and just.
You're an adult. It's not like this stuff just came out today. It's been increasing for the last 20 years, and you personally chose to not pay attention to technology because you were 40 and you were like, nah, I won't need that. It's a trend. Well, guess what, asshole? You're 60 now and you can't fucking open your email.
You're like, I can't get a job.
Yeah, right.
I gotta have my grandson reset my password for me. Like, really?
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's honestly, though, like, that's more depressing when you see somebody who's like 80 working a retail job or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. I see that a lot, man. Like, old ladies.
Just work until they die.
Work in retail because their husband died. They don't get Social Security, no life insurance, shit like that. And it's just like, okay, like, this is what happens in America. And you are old. Like, you should not be here working this. Like, I feel so bad. I go to the gas station by my house, and a couple days a week, there's this really old lady, super sweet, but she's a really old lady, and she works there, and like she's got a cane, and I ask her to get me something off the shelf behind her, and she like takes a moment to turn around. And I'm like, can I? Fuck, man, I feel bad asking you to do this.
Yeah,
like you should be at home watching Price is Right now.
Right.
What are you doing? And it just sucks, man. When thinking about like that's our future, if we're lucky. The way things are going right now, there will be no Social Security for our generation whatsoever. It's already fucking empty, basically. They're just printing more money, which is causing all this problem in the first place. We get no Social Security unless you have your own 401k or Roth IRA or something that you're maxing out every year.
That was another huge scam. The way they were like, you have to pay in Social Security so we all benefit later.
Yeah.
And they take this money.
Yeah.
All the money you would have paid into Social Security, if it accrued interest in a regular, high interest account, you would have way more money than you need for retirement.
Yep.
But instead, the government takes it, and they're like, all right, we're going to use it right away, and,
give it to the military.
Yep. So now there's this crazy idea that, now you can contribute again to your own retirement. There's not going to be anything for you. Why don't you, why don't you put something in pre-tax? But we're not going to tell you what the tax rate is 60 years from now. Good luck, everybody else.
Yeah. The only benefit of it is when you have an employer that matches. Like if an employer matches 3% of or like 100% of what you put in up to a certain amount kind of thing. Like that, I feel like is because that's just free money.
That's great. Yeah.
They're just giving it to you pre-tax, and then you're doubling your contribution to your retirement. That to me makes a lot of sense because those things generally have, they might not have fixed interest rates, but they're generally going to be a little bit, at least it's something. You know, it's something, and it's pre-tax, so you're going to get taxed later. And the benefit, you're right, you're not going to know what the tax rate is, but you're only going to get taxed on the minimum that you would need to pay taxes at, like the lowest bar, you know what I mean? So you're still technically, I mean, like we just discussed, you're still fucking paying 40% of your income to the state and the government, federal. But I mean, there are definitely benefits in contributing to your IRA and Roth IRA if you can. But yeah, who has $6,500 extra every year to put in their Roth IRA?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Just all willy-nilly like.
Right. I don't know anybody personally who's able to max out their Roth IRA every year just based on what they earn.
Right.
Kind of thing. Like, even if you, like, okay, like what's the ratio? It's like, when you get paid after taxes, you're supposed to save 20% of it. 60% goes to your bills, and then 40% goes to your wants. Okay,
that's 120% though.
No. Oh shit, you're right. 20 savings, 20 want, 60% to your bills.
There we go.
Yes, that's what I meant. 120%.
Add it all up, it's a perfect 40. But that's supposed to be the ratio.
It's supposed to be, yeah. And unfortunately, though, the way rent and everything is like it costs 95% of what you make to barely survive. And that's eating processed bullshit foods because it's the cheaper ones you can get. It's three dinners for $10, you know? So you buy it, it's bullshit processed plastic food. People have crazy ass diseases all the time.
Yep, cancer, heart disease, I mean.
Yeah. You can't tell me that it's because over the last 30 years, our bodies, our parents' bodies, have been filled with chemicals, plastics, shit that you give to an animal, they would peel over and die.
Yep.
Keel over, not peel over.
Well, it's safe in small quantities is what they're promoting.
So is meth, but no thanks.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing with science is they can be wrong and still promote something as healthy. Asbestos.
True. They used to give a pack of cigarettes in the Army MREs. They were standard issue to get a carton of cigarettes.
No, instead we're just going to tax the hell out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's unhealthy. Rather than just make it illegal to sell.
They put sugar in all of our food. Yeah. And now the only time they tax you on food purchases is when it contains a certain percentage of sugar. Like, oh, wow, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
You did that to yourself and to us. Thanks a lot.
And then we spend how much on medical bills when we get diabetes when we're 40, and then the insulin prices and stuff like that. Like, it's all fixed, man. It's all a game. It's just, it's so blanketed and umbrellaed over everything. It's hard to process that maybe this really is fixed from the top up, you know?
It's all rigged.
The all-seeing eye at the top of the pyramid, and we're the piece of shits down at the bottom holding everything up. And it's just 1% taking up the rest of the space, man. And I'm not saying that, you know, we need to kill the rich people and take their money and distribute it, but like, if we did that...
Hear me out.
I just don't think that Jeff Bezos needs to have billions of dollars. Elon Musk. Nobody needs to have that amount of money.
Right, because he's definitely not giving back.
No, he's
not doing his part. What they're doing is putting a little extra button. Would you like to donate to charity on your Amazon account?
Yeah.
Walmart too? Yeah. Like, thanks. Yeah. Wow, this billion-dollar corporation with billions in profits that pay 0% in federal taxes.
Exactly.
You want to ask me for a fucking charity donation?
Yeah.
I'm ready to burn this mother down.
All they do is take that money and then they pile it up and then they donate it and write it off. It's not you donating anything. It's the most fucked up thing.
And then they're going to spend $30 million on a TV ad to say they donated $15 million.
Yeah.
We're doing our part.
Yeah. We're all in this together.
All in this together.
In these unprecedented times.
Uncertain.
Wow. Speaking of, go ahead on YouTube and type in willful ignorance.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was a pretty fun video that we did. Chris did a lot of the editing on that. All the editing on that this turned out really great.
It was a good collaboration. We're like, let's make some like SNL spoof parodies, but like we'll do some video. You did a lot of voiceover, a lot of writing for that, and that was fantastic. We all did our part together, but separately.
The news isn't black and white. That was a good one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that format a lot. The subject matter was a very small moment in time that only mattered to so many people.
Yeah.
So it was only relevant for a short amount of time. But I like that format. If we could get Troy Chadwick again back for an appearance with someone who could relate to the more urban communities.
I grew up in a small town. What about me is urban? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly true, man. I don't know what direction to take with this podcast. I don't know what direction to take with this conversation. I don't know what direction America needs to take to make it equitable and just for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but in the Pledge of Allegiance that you want every motherfucker to stand up, hold their heart and say, what are the last words of that, man?
Liberty and justice for all.
For all. All. And that doesn't even just mean all the white folks. That doesn't mean all the rich folks. That doesn't mean all the people on Jeffrey Epstein's little lists and shit, which were probably mostly white rich folks. And it literally means everybody. Everybody. This is supposed to be the country that people come to because they know that if they try, that they have an opportunity. No one's going to tell them no because you're Jewish. No because you're Catholic. No because, well, they weren't supposed to say no because of these things. No because you're black. No because you're Mexican. Like, it's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be yes. Yes, come here, bring your smartest fucking people that you can, and we all together are going to build a big thing. I think one of the biggest problems that we have, sincerely, and this is probably, I don't know, some ist that I don't understand of, the whole concept of nations. I think we as a species have outgrown it. I think the concept of a one world government sounds fucking scary. A one world currency sounds really scary, and it sounds all these ists and isms that I don't understand and shit. But when I think about it, I think about what's the root then of the problems. I'm a minimalist. Take a whole thing and just try to what's causing this? Why this? Why that? If you get to the bottom, maybe you'll be able to start making changes. And I feel like the bottom is we think we're better than you because we have a different name than you do. Red team versus blue team type shit. Sure.
I'm following your concept, but I feel like you've drawn the wrong conclusion with it.
Most likely.
I feel like the benefit to having different nations or different states or different counties is that they could run it their own way, try it differently, and they could have different pros and cons to everything, lower tax rates, certain things. So if you don't like things in California, you could move to Texas, for example.
That's happening right now.
If we had a one world government like California, would that be fair and equitable to everyone? If we,
but
it's
that's
good.
What I'm saying. Haven't we evolved enough now to understand what the right type of government? I mean, we don't have it here.
I think it's no government or minimal, just
absolutely minimal government.
Yep. The less control they have over our lives, the more we can control our own. Okay. And we don't have to worry about, are they taking care of our health care? Are they giving us this X, Y, and Z? If we can provide for ourselves, that's better. More power is good when good people are in, but it's bad when bad people are in.
Right. And money turns good people bad. That's just what happens with corporations and shit like that. So maybe you're right. Maybe I am drawing the wrong conclusion. Maybe it is more like we need to minimalize minimize. That's the word. Minimize the reach of everything. Bring everything to a more local standpoint. And but then it's just like, well, where do you draw the line? Do you go cities, counties? This apartment complex has their own fucking tax laws. Like what? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I feel like you're taking the direction of Nellie on The Office, where she goes, "We're breaking down all the cubicles. There is no hierarchy. Everyone is equal." And they're like, "Well, who would you report to? How do you provide direction?" You're like, "You know what? More cubicles. More."
I'm talking this out and I'm learning new ideas. This is what perfect. Communication is.
No, it's fantastic. But you see the parallels now. You're like, well, how far do we take it? Well, I want to be my own country. I want to do my own rules. I don't want to pay 40% into a government that says you got to be grateful for the pothole-ridden road that we tax you to drive on that we never fix, and we keep having to create new infrastructure bills to create more money.
Why?
Like,
just fix what's there. Stop building new shit.
Fix what's there.
Fix what's there.
Yeah.
It can't be that hard to just fix what's there.
You would think. It's so simple. You would think. You would think. Right.
Well, that whole thing about like a hammer in the army is like $5,000.
Oh yeah, they're like, all right, we gotta we're having a little banquet, $30 a muffin. You know, that's how they do it. When you have like these government contracts and people are bidding, it's you know, pros and cons to it. Where do you go with the lowest bidder because you think they're affordable, or is that the lowest quality? Right. Is there always higher quality with higher prices? Not necessarily.
Not necessarily at all. At all. I mean, look at Justin Bieber tickets. Those are expensive, but you're going to see Justin Bieber. So,
also a matter of perception. I would have, not me personally, I'm not defending the Biebs, but what I'm saying is there are people who have this perception that he's like
the shit worth paying $150 to go see. Shit like that.
That seems affordable. Could you get me Bieber tickets for $150 is what I'm asking.
Wow. No.
That seems really cheap, actually. Are those like second row, or are we talking nosebleeds? Or?
Well, that's silly that $150 for a ticket to see anybody is affordable.
Well, that's what it is to go to like Warped Tour. If you do a Warped Tour day, it's like $150. Sure, it's 3 days and you get to see quite a few bands, but you always got your favorites who are playing separate
and isn't
separate
there
stages.
A lot of infrastructure at Warped Tour? Like vendors and bathrooms and shit like that?
They usually do it at places like Summerfest. So the infrastructure's there, they're just renting it out. Warped Tour isn't a thing anymore, but some of the bands themselves took it upon themselves to actually take it on the road and do their own little mini Warped Tour. One was the Sad Summer Festival. They had it at the Rave. It was a very smaller event, you know, 7 or 8 bands. But it was cool to have a little taste of the Warped Tour. You know.
Was it $150 to go?
No. It was about 30 or 40. But, you know.
That's affordable.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
And like getting into Summerfest is like, what, $25 or something like that? But like there's a lot in Summerfest that you can see without spending any more money. Granted, there's a lot you have to spend money in there if you want anything.
Yeah,
But once you pay the entrance fee to Summerfest, you can get in, you can see all those bands you want to see and shit like that.
That's fair. That's fair. You get a lot of value out of that.
Yeah. I remember Ozfest. That was cool. I went to one of those in Alpine Valley. Yeah, when I was younger, Creed was playing at Alpine Valley, and I wanted to go so bad.
Yeah.
But I was like 12, and my mom was like, no. So.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
So are we talking about the downfall of the American dream?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Can we go back to Creed and the Biebs?
Creed and the Biebs.
Coming to you live. That was a good convo. Like, I'm sorry. I was enjoying our very sad conversation. Like, let me just bring you back to reality real quick.
Yeah, bring it back to reality. Miley Cyrus just did a Metallica cover. I didn't hear it, but she did.
They were too worried if they could. I didn't think about if they should.
Yeah. Well, apparently Metallica's all about it, so maybe it wasn't shit. Like when Avril Lavigne covered Fuel by them. Oof.
What was that one, the one band, like Puddle of Mud covered something?
They just covered a Nirvana song, and it will go down in history as the worst live performance ever recorded.
I remember seeing that one.
Yep.
Was that in the last couple of years?
It was last year, I think.
Okay.
I think it was last year. It was like it looked like an AOL Sessions kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, look up Puddle of Mud About a Girl from Nirvana cover.
Okay.
And within the first 25 seconds of the song, as soon as the vocals come in,
yeah,
you will laugh. You will laugh. Unless you're a diehard Kurt Cobain fan, you will cry.
I hear the U.S. military is using that now at Guantanamo Bay.
No shit, dude.
Yeah.
That would make a hostage situation deflate quick. Oh, man, that's funny. They used to do high-pitched noises and sirens and shit. Now it's just that motherfucker going for 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's good to laugh a little.
It is. It's good. I mean, we laugh a lot.
I'm feeling better now.
There's stuff to laugh about, no doubt. I guess the first 40 minutes of this podcast was just kind of like a bitch session about the current status of being a millennial in America, 2021. But now we can talk about some funny shit, I guess. Hey, you funny guy, tell me a joke.
Hey, I got nothing.
I got nothing.
I really like the show Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
Just the situations that they create for themselves. And it's usually not at anyone else's expense except their own. They just embarrass each other. Fantastic show. Highly recommend it.
That show gives me so much anxiety, man. Oh my God. Some of the shit that they tell those guys to do, I'm like, how? How do you walk up to another human being and do that?
Yeah.
Some of that shit. It was like, hey, I'm trying. Will you shave my ass for me? And shit like that. It's just like the public strangers. And then people will do it. That's the weird thing, is that they get these strangers like, oh, yeah, okay, no problem. You need someone to shave your ass. Let me just go around here.
Yeah.
Tell me to use cream or just wet shave. What do you want?
Again, it's a perception thing. I think it's hilarious and funny. You get anxious and you're like, cringeworthy. You're like, I can't watch this.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt. A lot of it's funny, yes.
Yeah.
But there are some of them that I'm just like, oh, stop. Like they had like a Scott's Tots version kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was good. How do robots eat guacamole? With computer chips.
Oh. Ha, ha, ha. LOL. 01001.
LOL. Moving on. Shit. Getting over a little sinus cold here. It sucks. Could be worse, I guess. Could be COVID again, but it's not.
How are your symptoms compared to COVID?
With COVID, I felt like I had the flu for 3 days, and then I couldn't smell or taste for another 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually kind of went away, sort of like this, where it's just like a sinus drainage.
Yeah.
Is what happened to me. My wife, she just had this, like a sinus infection for a week, is how it seemed. And my kids, thank goodness, all they had was the sniffles for a weekend.
Okay.
And then that Monday, they were both fine. So, yeah, they were fine. But I think I got it the worst.
Yeah.
In my household. Yeah. I mean, Tabitha was pretty laid up with her, but she said that she didn't have like the chills and stuff like that. Like I was sweating and freezing for 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah. I just was. I mean, I wake up, swear to God, I wake up, I thought I pissed the bed because I was so wet. And I roll out and the sheets are sticking to me and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just sweaty.
That's tough.
Like, what is this?
That's gross.
Yeah. I thought I was melting, man. I wasn't melting. So kind of took up golf
Tell me about that.
It's unfortunately, that's really it. I bought a set of used clubs on Facebook Marketplace. It didn't come with a driver. But it's got some irons, like a 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3 or something like that. And then 3 woods, a 1, 3, and 5 wood. A bunch of balls, some tees, and a nice bag, So it was kind of cool for my first set of clubs ever. It was like really cool to just have one.
Yeah.
Heavy, lug it around and shit. It's all old school because I saw I was at the driving range today. I saw people like newer looking things and they're all sleek. And they have these little kickstands on them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm rocking some old school hand-me-down shit. No problem. Okay. My wrist hurts because I fucking kept slamming it into the ground because I'm terrible. Yeah. So it was my second time at a driving range in my adult life. And I don't know. It's kind of fun. My watch keeps telling me that I'm working out when I'm doing it the whole time.
That's good.
So I had no idea.
Hey, whatever sort of, hobby or anything that gets you a little, physical exercise.
Yeah, right.
Good for you. That's great.
Right. It's not mowing the lawn. I fucking hate that. But I can stand still and swing a golf club for, an hour.
Your golf comparison that you were using, you're like, I got this old bag and I'm showing up to all these. In my head, I thought about mowing the lawn. I'm like, you go to a lawn mowing competition or like some convention. Everyone's got riding lawnmowers, the newest thing. You come up with a push mower.
Yeah, a push mower. Yeah.
You're like, how do you do, fellow
lawn enthusiast?
Yeah.
You got to pull start it, then it backfires.
That's pretty cool. I went with you to that first time at the range. That was tough. First time in 13 years golfing. And I wouldn't say golfing, it was the range. Mm-hmm. I got 100 balls, big mistake. I got sunburned out there for 2 hours.
I won't do 100 balls no more.
No.
That was too much.
No.
Maybe we should have split that. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But I had no idea.
Right.
I thought it was just fun, just keep whacking the ball.
You're like, it's a great value. You're like 75 balls for $7
yeah.
or like...
It was like $10 for 100 balls or something like that. So I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Get my money worth, I guess. But then I'm standing out there for 2 hours in the sun. Okay. Still got 10 balls left. Shit.
That was a good time, though. I definitely was sore myself after that. My right forearm. More than usual, It was just with the motion and...
Right. And you're far more active than I am. And you were sore. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It hurt the next day. I got a blister on my finger and shit. It was just, I didn't expect it to be as physically demanding as it was. Just a driving range. I wasn't even doing 18 holes,
You're like, I was just standing there.
Right. Yeah, so now I'm kind of nervous doing my first 18-hole golf outing and stuff because I'm just like, holy shit.
Are you doing one?
There's one on Friday that I'm technically invited to, but I don't have anyone to play with. So it's like one of those things where I sponsored a hole just for marketing so that my name would be there.
Yeah.
And that was really it. That's the only reason I did it. But then they're like, hey, if you want to come and golf, you can. Just let us know who your group is. I was like, I don't have a group. I don't have a group of golfing friends, I mean...
It's tough enough trying to get a group of friends.
No shit.
And then now you add in this new criteria, also golf.
Yeah, sorry, lady, if I can get 4 people together, we're playing D&D, okay? I'm not going golfing. We're going to be in my basement, air conditioning, playing make-believe. That's what I'm going to do in my time.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's on a Friday. It starts at noon on Friday. So I'm sorry, I can't do that. I could, but I don't want to. I don't want to golf all day Friday by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could probably meet some folks and stuff like that, but...
You should for the social aspect.
I should. I guess I don't have to golf. I can go and just kind of walk around for an hour.
Just bring a cooler, see if they need snacks. You guys need hydration? Hydration? Do the upside down Gatorade to them. You're doing great. Smack their ass.
Squeeze it at them as they're walking by.
Adam Moore is professional water boy.
I should have pursued that career.
That would have been great.
Yeah. But a degree in waterboying isn't as lucrative as you think.
No.
What does he call it? He doesn't call himself a water boy. What does he call himself? Aquatic specialist? No.
Oh yeah, something like that.
H2O specialist. I don't
remember.
remember.
Yeah, it was like.
But I guess you could say hydration specialist.
Absolutely.
That would definitely be a water boy on your resume.
Absolutely.
Hydration specialist for the athletic department of insert wherever you were.
Yeah.
The high school or whatever, college. So there you go. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah. You were in charge of keeping everybody hydrated. That must have been difficult. Tell me about your experience. Well, I stood on the side of the field for 3 hours a week and poured some filtered water into plastic cups.
Managed and distributed the inventory of thousands of cups per week. You're like,
thousands of units.
Yeah,
hydration units.
I'm trying to pad my resume here.
Millions, delivered millions of units. Pieces of paper. Yeah. That's funny, man.
Sought to the adequate hydration of the performance athletes.
Yeah, performing athletes,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can spin that shit. Wow. Okay. Let's end on a positive note today.
You first.
Shit.
My WIFLE turned into a 40-minute segment. You're like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Well, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, there you go.
I have a lot of questions. First of all, how dare you?
Yeah.
All right. So on a positive note, you walk out of your house, most likely you're not going to get blown up. So that's a cool thing. I can go pee in a toilet that I don't have to drink out of. That's a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to a grocery store, and even though the groceries are stupid expensive, I can still buy everything I would need to make a meal for myself without growing or hunting a goddamn thing. And that's cool. It'd be cool if I could, but I can't. So I do that instead because #America. So those are good things. Those are things that we take for granted that we should be thankful of, because I'm learning now it is really not like that in everywhere in the world. Well, all right, man. A positive note. All right. You know what? This is still the safest time in the entire history of the human race to be alive, with access to medicine. I mean, we go and we pay to look at apex predators in cages. We don't have to fear from them anymore. Mm-hmm. Most of us have roofs over our heads. And if you're watching this, you have the internet. So you're welcome. I didn't do nothing, but be grateful for it. Because I take this shit for granted too much. That's the truth. And then I have young kids who I see them take for granted the things that they have. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, we got to put a stop to this.
Yeah.
You have to learn to be grateful for the little shit that you have. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're going to grow up to be an asshole. Just a spoiled nothing, a shit stain on America.
100%. Be grateful and thankful for what you have, but also strive to be better. Strive to be more. Yeah. Don't be complacent because you're like, well, at least I'm not getting blown up today. So,
yeah. Well, everybody, thanks for, we have some shit on YouTube and stuff like that. I guess check out That's Our Take on YouTube, Facebook. Not very active on social media at all. So send us offensive things that we can reply to.
Wonderful. Stir the pot.
All right, everybody. Good night.